Hello, welcome to this week's CMF Running podcast and video. I'm Chris Lucas, run coach.
And I'm Charlotte Milne, strength and run coach at CMF Running.
Yeah, welcome along. So this week we are continuing on with our Tarawera series, and so this week is the 50k course preview, 50k and 21k. We're going to integrate the 21k also.
Yeah, so if you are on the 21k and you don't want to listen to the first half, just skip to about halfway through where Chris is going to timestamp it,
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We'll just give it a listen, because maybe next year you'll come back and do the 50k.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
And we've already put out our 100k and 100 mile videos. You can check them out on Spotify or our YouTube channel. They're already done. And coming up after this video, we are going to do one on crewing. So if you have a miler athlete that you're supporting in crewing, we're going to put together a video for that.
Awesome, sounds great. Cool, let's
Fire into it, eh?
Yes, let's go.
Let's do it.
So where are we starting? Where and what time are we starting?
Starting at the start line.
Yeah.
6 a.m. at Te Puia.
Yes.
Bit of an earlier start than last year, eh?
I feel like it is. I feel
Yeah.
like we started at that 7:30.
Yeah, I think, and that's purely because of the 100k is starting at the same location. The 100k is starting at 7:30. 7:30, yeah. So purely logistics for the event. 100k, of course, having a different start location to normal years. Got to get all you 50k's out of the way first.
Yeah, for sure. I was just thinking that maybe the speedy 100k is going to catch the sort of tail end 50k's quite early on.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, if you're a rare packer in the 50k, you can look forward to having the front runner elites in the 100k come flying past you at some point.
So maybe get your phone out and
Yeah.
get ready to record and take photos or something.
Yeah, that'll be quite fun. Yeah. Grab that selfie.
Yeah.
Time it just right.
Yeah. Like get a string of friends together that are and they're all yelling, it's coming, get ready.
Well, we do know that Sage Kennedy is coming. What is he? What event is he in? Not quite sure. He's done the 100k a couple of times. I'm going to presume that he's coming for the 100k.
I'm going to seek and presume that.
So that'll be pretty cool. He's an awesome guy as well. Just such a down to earth, friendly guy as well. So he probably won't be stopping for a selfie.
Yeah, maybe not that friendly.
Not that friendly. Yeah. He might say hello though. So.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway. So start of the course. There's 3 waves as well for the 50k. Under 7 hours is the first wave, and the second wave is 7 to 8 hours, and the last wave is just anyone over 8 hours. So interesting wave setup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you would say that most of the field is going to be between the 7 and 8 hour time frame.
It's interesting, isn't it? So
they
identified that as like the real mid. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
They have taken the medium of the runners and they are squeezed in that hour.
Yeah, because I think last year there was more start waves, wasn't there? I reckon there was quite a number of start waves last year. I just remember because you did it. Yeah.
So place yourself where you think you will be.
Yeah, self-seeding. Yeah. Cool. So start of the race is Te Puia. You do a bit of running around Te Puia, a bit of concrete. See the geyser.
Yeah. If you're good at sort of not navigating where you should run because there's so many people. It's can be quite even though there's waves, it obviously can still be kind of congested.
It will be congested.
Yeah. But it is what it is. It kind of thins out pretty quickly.
When did it start sort of thinning out for you? Once you sort of popped out of Te Puia?
I think so, yeah, because with this course, 3k's in, there's a hill, which I think just naturally thins people out due to how people approach that hill. Obviously, some people just run up it, and some people walk up it, and some people do a bit of both. And I think definitely by then there was still quite a few people, but it had thinned out.
And that trail's kind of long too, so you pop out of Te Puia and then you're into the single trail. Yeah, it is wideish enough to sort of get around people.
Yeah, you can get around people. You
Yeah, so that's cool.
Definitely, if you're passing people, kind of off trail in the grass, because the trail itself that's been carved, formed is very narrow.
Oh, do you mean on the flat? Yeah, on the flat bit at Waipa before you head into the forest, yeah. So that's real wide, yeah. And if you're cruising, just stick to the left, so people can overtake you.
Yeah, for sure. And everyone kind of knows at the start of a race like this is like this, so it's like a bit of like acceptance of what it is and just working with it. And it forces you to ease into the race, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
For sure. So yep, Te Puia, then a little bit of single track, and then you pop out onto the grass, that open grass section at Waipa.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sort of pop back into the forest, which must be around about here, I'd say, isn't it? Yeah.
So we're on the hill.
Right, there we are. Yeah, look at that. There's a little dot. Yep, now we're into this hill. You can see in the elevation profile down the bottom there. First little climb, and it's about a K long, isn't it?
Yeah, about that. I think it's a bit longer than a K, because I think there's a segment up it,
a little over a K, up to the trig. Then there's like a sort of levels off, sort of halfway a little bit too, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this hill like quite a lot, because it's in like the 100K in the miler.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's in the 100K.
In the normal miler course, not this year though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we talked about it quite a lot in the 100K video. Like, it's a hill, obviously it's been 3Ks in, 4Ks in, 3Ks, that I definitely walked up it last year, power hiked.
The whole thing?
I think there would have been some jogging, but
Combination of
yeah,
running and walking.
Yes.
And you were 4:50-ish.
Yes.
50K as well, 4 hours 50.
That's right. And I was kind of I remember like the one girl I was kind of doing this with. I think I was power hiking, I can't quite remember. But most people it would be that. It's quite steep, and it's quite early on, so
Yeah, there's a steep section, eh?
the start's quite steep and at the end. And
Yeah, the end bit too, yeah.
so I think it's just a hill that you
Just
don't...
respect those early hills.
Yeah.
It's that classic one where you do see, when you do, a race, and you do see people sort of running up it because they're just fresh and excited, and you just see, like, oh, that's going to get you later on.
Yeah, and if you're a good walker, walk up it, and use that to your advantage. Because just because Sally's running next to you doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to keep running. You could overtake her, like, on the flat after this hill. Like, that's how easily people can cook themselves. I noticed that when I did it, that after I got sort of up the hill and then down, and then there was like a flat bit, I was like overtaking people already.
Oh, like on the flat by the mud pools, yeah.
Yeah, there, and just even a little bit further on.
So it's just that thing, isn't it, of just utilising your energy appropriately. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll know now if you're good at hills or something that you struggle with or somewhere in between, like, and it's just taking that into consideration as well. Hopefully you've practiced this in training and you can do it in the race.
Yes. Pretty awesome. And then you got, I was just going to say, when we talked about, it is a decent sized 50K this. It's pretty much, 53Ks. So, it's an extra few Ks of respect for the day, And if you're doing like, 7-8 minute Ks or, that's an extra, 20 odd minutes plus of, running.
Yeah, it's not like, there's quite a few courses out there that are short. This one, you're definitely going to...
Yeah, it's definitely not a Tupor Ultra 40, 7 Ks for the 50K course.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to clock 50 on this one.
Definitely.
And I'd say that elevation gain is pretty accurate, actually. That's about what I reckon. So most folks on years gone by in the 50K course do clock about 1,000, 1,100 on their watches. So that does look pretty accurate in terms of what people clock.
Yeah, I reckon they've changed the elevation profile, because I'm pretty sure last year it said 1,500.
1,500, yeah. Years gone by it used to say 1,500.
Because I was like, I'm pretty sure it was wrong last year, but yeah, I think you are right.
Not wrong, just... Yeah, there's a bit of... I mean, you get that with all events. It's just... Yeah, so it was to do with all the little undulations here.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so when we're running and your watch is only pinging like every few 3 to 5 seconds, then it's effectively missing some of those little undulations that you run up.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just a bit of nuance in how things are captured. So, however it's been captured on this, this is a different map system to what was on the previous Tarawera website, so it just comes down to different app or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, could still be 1500.
Could be. But you won't know until the end.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
actually anyway. Like, it doesn't actually matter.
No, it doesn't.
What do you reckon it felt like? Did it feel like about 1100 to you?
I would say so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I reckon it feels like about 1100.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
mixture.
yeah.
It's a course that seems to be a mixture of very runnable, and also there are like the hills are steep, like that are in it. Like so.
Yeah, just a few steep. Yeah,
Yeah,
four sort of steeper bits. Four. So yeah, first climb, then down. Yep, nice downhill. What have we got here really? What is this hill here? I've always. Oh yeah, okay, yep. So yep, downhill, and then yeah, then you sort of go into that yellow track, don't you?
Yes,
So
that's right.
if you've ever run the yellow track in the forest when you've been visiting, you sort of hook up into the yellow track along this sort of section here. Then you pop out a little bit of like forestry road, and then you back into single trail, which is the Piglet Trail.
Oh yeah, the Piglet Trail is an interesting one. It's quite hilly. It's just a gradual uphill. The Piglet Trail.
That's what this little thing is
Yeah.
here, isn't it?
So.
Yeah. And it's sort of like a really nice single trail. By then, everyone will be more spread out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. I actually really enjoyed that little trail.
Yeah, me too.
It's so nice, and yeah, a couple of little semi-technical little bits, and soft underfoot.
I think this is a hill that, depending on where you are in the field, like determines how you run it, because of the gradual uphill. If you're kind of near the pointier end, like you can run up it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
This would definitely be running.
But if you're kind of like towards the end, it's definitely
Yeah, if you're a rare packer, you'll definitely be walking up this.
And what about a mid packer?
Mixture of both.
Yeah.
Certainly that little. I can remember because we were up at just last week on a training weekend. We had some group runs with our crew there. It's just that little end, but that's like a little bit steep. Remember?
Yeah.
Right before you pop out by this bit here. Then you pop out by these like water things.
Nice description.
Someone local watching this will be like, Chris, they're such and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what they're for.
I can't think of it right now either.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Someone put it in the comments of the video. Do us a favour.
Yes.
Water collection reservoirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and then you pop out, a bit of forestry road, you run past the water, and then bit of stairs. And then you pop out down onto the Wash Road. It's like a forestry road kind of thing. It's basically all forestry road. Then from here, which is how far through is that? About 9 k's. And you got a couple of k's down to the Puringa aid station, which is like just under 11 k's. Puringa aid station. Yeah, you won't be stopping here for very long, will you?
No,
A bit of a quick in and out.
Yep, it might be a toilet stop potentially, or it might just be a nothing stop.
Yeah. Did you stop here last year?
To go to the loo, but other than that,
The early morning loo stop.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny one, isn't it? So yeah, it depends where you are in the field as to whether you're going to utilise this aid station or not. I mean, if it was me, I'm kind of a similar time. I'd be a similar sort of under 5 hours runner on this course, roundabout. And if I started with 2 bottles in my front, then I probably wouldn't stop at this station at all. If I started with 1 bottle, then I'd probably fill up. Possibly if I started with 1 bottle, I would then fill up 2 bottles at Puringa, and I would miss the next station, Rotokakihi 1. You stop at Rotokakihi twice. So that would possibly be my kind of strategy if that was me. One bottle to start for the first 10 k's, fill up 2, and then my next fill up point would be the second time I come back through the Rotokakihi station at about the 20-30 odd k mark.
That's a really good tactic, actually. I'm liking that one.
I quite often just start with 1 bottle.
I didn't do that last year. But I think last year it was there was no 2 stops at Green Lake. It was just the 1. So I would have started with 2 and then filled up here again, and then I filled up here for the first time and then carried on.
Oh, that's quite you got an extra aid station this year, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't a second. No, there wasn't. So that was quite a long stretch last year, wasn't it? So you were going from Oh yeah, I guess it's fairly close. You were going from 22 to 35 k's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a bit long, eh? For like if you're like a 8 hour plus 50k, that's a long way, isn't it? Like to cover, like in the sort of middle of the day, got a bit of a climb in there. It's a long way to go. Yes, they've added that second stop in to Rotakaki.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing.
No.
Good work.
Nice
Good work,
one.
team. Right, where were we? Puringa aid station, 10 odd k's thin. Yeah, you can access it for supporters, but you got to take a bus. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't ask my supporters to go there. It would just be a hassle. Yeah. So yeah, after the Puringa aid station, you got some real beautiful single trail alongside the water here. Yeah, it's really nice for about a k or 800 meters or so. Then you're sort of and then after that, between after you pop out, it's basically forestry road for a while, isn't it? Sort of a mixture of forestry road and sort of forestry track kind of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, really nice. Bit of uphill coming out of Puringa. Remember that? Just this gradual little up here.
Yeah, before we're...
Yeah, and a bit of ups and a bit of downs. Yep, just nice running, beautiful part of the forest. It's like pine forest with like nice like native bush undergrowth. I remember that. It's really nice. And then and you have a road crossing at about the 15k mark there, 16k's, and then we kind of get into the next sort of significant up section, which is just before you go into the sort of native bush area. Locals call it the natives, that little bush area, which is a couple of k's. How big's the natives area? About a k, isn't it? Really, 1 to 2 k's. So the climb up here.
Yeah, so this is...
About a k and a half. And yeah, it's forestry road. It's like one of those ones that start, because we just ran it last weekend. It just kind of, it starts like that, and then it sort of gets a bit steeper as you carry on. Yeah.
Anything like this, I think it's just working within like your heart rate parameters, and just being aware of what your heart rate's doing and adjusting your speed to suit that. Because it's like still early on in the race, like under halfway. So I don't know. I'm like quite a cautious runner, I guess, in a way. Cautiously bold. So if it was me, I would just definitely be just working with those parameters. Yes, and walking if I needed to.
Yeah, the actual road, like the forestry road part's not too bad. Then it sort of goes into this sort of single trail. They've done a bit of felling there. Some sort of steeper bits onto that single trail that they've just carved out. Like it's fairly new, because we ran up there like a few months back and couldn't get anywhere. It was all blocked off, but now there is a single trail carved through there. So you'll be out in the open and it'll feel like you're going, like you'll be like, oh, where are we going?
I feel like I'm running in the rubble.
Yeah. But then you do then you pop into the native bush area, which is just this beautiful a couple of k section of just beautiful native bush single trail. A few little routes and stuff around, log that you got to climb over.
Yep, there's that. But yeah, this part of the natives is pretty flat, really. I reckon it's like almost like a gradual downhill.
Yeah, it's right here, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. There's the down there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got a river down and
it's like a good place to get in if you're well into the race now, so hopefully you're in a good rhythm. And it's just like enjoying just running in that rhythm basically, and you're in a nice part of the forest, so it's just taking in that sort of lovely surroundings and flowing with it really.
And your sort of next target is the aid station, which is sort of coming up. Yeah, so you pop out of the natives, then bit of forestry road again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to Rotakaki aid station, 22 k's. and then you have the loop, Mossy Loop, which is about 5 odd k's all up, isn't it?
5 to 6, I think.
Or the return trip, so it's 22 there. So yeah, is that 6 to 7 k's for the return trip back to the aid station? Yeah.
Yeah, Mossy Loop has like a bit of a hill in it, and then it's just sort of like that undulating kind of terrain, and then there's a bit of a downhill, and then there's a bit of an uphill. I found
Just sounds like a trail.
it does. My descriptive words today are a bit limited, I must say.
So as you're as you're running around Mossy Loop as well, you got like beautiful views across the lake here. Yeah, enjoy that. It's really nice. I love this loop. It's like this is like one of our favourite places to kind of run. It's really beautiful. Nice views. Yeah, and then you'll make it back to Rotokakehi.
I was going to say that this is an interesting point of the race, kind of been halfway through, and maybe like earlier on, you may have noticed that someone has passed you, or that you're like, I think, like, not without being like too, like, I thought I'm kind of faster than this kind of person. You know, it's just the kind of thing that I do when I'm racing, is I like look at who's around me and who's passing me and who am I passing. And I definitely noticed, like, going around Mossy Loop, that I started passing like a few people. I hadn't seen them for like a couple of hours. Like, it might have been way at the beginning, and then I like start passing them on this loop. So, you know, it's kind of like if you've gone too hard at the start, you're going to start falling apart here, because, you know, you've done a couple of hills, and you've also had some runnable stuff which you may have gone too hard in as well.
Sort of getting to that halfway point of the race.
Yeah, and so you know, I think like any race, like the race doesn't really start at the start line. The race sort of starts, you know, well,
halfway, just over halfway.
Yeah. Just it sort of depends on, like, I think also depends on the terrain the course when the race kind of starts. But yeah, like, hopefully you have a coach and they've, like, you know, guided you with like heart rate and things like that, and you've worked on, you know, your strengths and you know your weaknesses, and you've worked with those, and you've fueled right and hydrated right, and trained and like not gone out with your ego and, you know, I'll just go hard at the start and let's walk the rest in. Like, that's not a fun time. You know, this is a really fun course because there's like so much runnable stuff. So to be running at the end is really fun. Definitely.
It is. And look at this on the bottom of the screen elevation. You know, you got this last sort of 12 k's is just, you know, down and then flat. Like, that's good running. It is good running. It is beautiful. So yeah, you want to be running the good stuff. So yeah, that kind of brings us to that sort of I guess so, from Rotokakehi the second time to the Tiki Tapu or Blue Lake aid station. Oh, it's not too far actually, is it? It's just 6 k's. Yeah, so yeah, just could be getting warm by that time of day. Depends what the weather is, but yeah, it's just one of those ones where you sort of, things are warming up and you're getting through the race. It's sort of one of those key ones where you want to make sure you got enough like hydration and stuff. For me, that would be something I'd be thinking about with that second trip around that aid station. So yeah, directly after Rotokakehi, you've got this nice climb here. Nice climb. So 29, 30. So it's like a 2.5k sort of all up, isn't it? Really. And it kind of starts before the Rotokakehi aid station too, to be fair. It sort of it starts back here. You know, you've completed the Mossy Loop. I would say it's almost just here, isn't it? Right after the loop. You've got this section here, and you'll see a lot of felled trees here as well. There was a lot of felling here a couple of years ago. So yeah, it sort of starts way back here. So it's 27.5 k's to almost 32. So that's 4+ k's all up of a net up. Granted, it is gradual here, but still, like combined, it's quite a lot. For me, like, this is a key part of the race here, really, or just in terms of setting yourself up for success. It's a key little part of the race. For me, if I was racing it would just be one of those ones where you're sort of patient in that. So then after Rotokakehi, it starts getting a bit steeper. Then it's all forestry road. You get onto Tiki Tapu Road, which is this one here, and it's just sections of it that are like steeper, where it's I'd be walking, power hiking like some of those steeper sections, and then there's like some like sections that are less steep and you can get into a bit of a run. But yeah, it's just one of those ones. Again, it's like just being patient and running within yourself. You know, whether you're using effort level or heart rate, just running within yourself.
Yeah.
Running your race, not someone else's. And then from the top, like this is for me, like with this course, like what you're talking about before, it's like for me, like it's the top of this climb at Tikitapu where the race begins. I think if you've set yourself up well in the first 32 k's, you're going to have a great race because you've got some nice downhill straight away to carry you all the way into the Tikitapu aid station, really, isn't it?
Yes, I definitely this is another spot, like when we were starting to go down, like, you know, I was passing people and people were not looking good. They were walking or just running really slow down the hills, and like, you know, it's, you know, they've gone too hard in those first 32 Ks. So don't let that be you, because it is exhilarating, like, you know, passing people and or just genuinely feeling good in yourself this far through the race.
Yeah, so equally it's not that fun being passed.
Yeah.
And we've all been there.
Totally.
We've cooked it a bit, and I did it at Parkrun.
Yeah, I've done
Christmas Day. Yeah, like cooked myself at Parkrun, and like the last 2 Ks were just like struggle fest. Everyone was passing me.
Yeah,
so,
I
you know,
that as
just
well.
happens. It happens.
And it was hot.
Yeah, it was so hot.
Yeah, so
Yeah. So you got a nice 3K of like downhill coming into Tikitapu, and yeah, this is like beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful, although it is forestry road, this bit, it is beautiful, like, because you can see glimpses of Rotakaki again on the right. You can see glimpses of that. You kind of got a bit of views, and then you drop down into the single trail that runs alongside Blue Lake, and by the time you get around here, like 1 to 2 Ks out from the aid station, you'll start hearing it, and you'll sort of see, there's a couple of points here where you can sort of see across, see the aid station as well, and sort of, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Pretty cool. And the Blue Lake aid station, of course, so 35 odd Ks in, major aid station for this event, for all the distances really, but yeah, major aid station for the 50k as well. And it's an aid station where you can have a drop bag, and your crew or your supporters can get there easily. They can drive there, they can park, so that's all. It's a very nice place to be supported. And if you do have a drop bag, that's a place to put it.
Yeah, and I think if you are wondering if I need a drop bag, I think it's like if you're heading sort of 7.5 hours, sort of, or plus, yeah, that's the word. Over. If you're kind of like under that, I don't think it's necessary to have like a drop bag. You know, you can carry what you need and take from the aid stations what you need as well, because you got to remember that, like, you know, every time that you stop is traveling 0 kilometers an hour, so if you can minimize your stoppages, then, you know, you've got more chance of like getting a faster time.
It's weighing that sort of stuff up.
Yeah, and like ultimately, like, I think, you know, if you're sort of like 7 hours, like your time's going to be around 7 hours, like you can spend that time out there without needing to do a shoe change or a sock change or a clothes, you know, like you can kind of live in your same shoes for that long. If not, then maybe you've got the wrong shoes on, you know. And it's it's how I see it, and we see it.
Yeah, so I think who would utilise a drop bag in this? I think, if you were, I mean, 7.5 hours and over, maybe something like that, You would possibly use the drop bag, just so you're not having to carry so much like of your like preference food choices and that kind of thing. Or maybe if you're a rare packer and you're thinking you're going to be like 9 to 11 hours, then maybe you do want to do a shoe change or at least a sock change, like things like that, or a t-shirt could change just so you feel a bit more comfortable for the last leg. That kind of way. If you're, what if you're like that 7 to 8 hours? I feel like that's a personal preference. If you're that 7 to 8 hour expected finish time, there's I guess a little bit of personal preference could come into it. depending on how much you've done in the past, I guess, as well, eh? What your level of experience is. Like maybe you've done like a few 50s before, in which case you'd probably be quite comfortable without a drop bag, because you're quite happy on your feet for 8 hours, that kind of way, like to your point. But yeah, if you're under 7 hours, I really don't think, if you're under 7 hours and you've done the training and stuff like that, so you've got, your feet are like battle hardened because you've done the training, you're ready, you've done some long, like 4-hour training runs, 5 hours, or missions over summer, and you're comfortable with your fueling and hydration strategy, and because you've done it in training, and I really don't see any need for a drop bag, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's quite a busy aid station, so it's just another thing, distraction and stuff like that, eh?
Yep. And I think like at this aid station, another like important thing to consider is like taking on like caffeine. So up until this point, with fueling and stuff, I wouldn't suggest having caffeine. At this aid station there'll be like Coke and fizzy drink, Mountain Dew, I remember last year. And I would advise, like, if you've practiced in training and it's worked well for you, like filling up one of your soft flasks like with Coke or your choice of fizzy drink here, just because it will give you that boost to keep powering on through like this next bit. There's like quite a lot of runnable stuff obviously coming up, and so being able to just like tap into that quick energy will help with keeping on going. And if you use caffeine too early in the race, like you're kind of like maxing out the energy that you should have due to fitness. But I prefer using caffeine in that sort of last, or definitely the second half of a race, or if it's like a 50k like this, that last third to a quarter kind of thing. Yeah, I had it and I felt bloody fantastic.
Was that the first time you had it, at Blue Lake?
Yeah. And again, like I just relied on Coke from the aid station as well. I didn't have it I didn't carry a can of Coke or anything like that. I think
the stations will be like pretty well stocked at this point of the event, because remember they've got especially like Blue Lake, because they've got the 100k's and the milers coming through later in the day. So Blue Lake should be pretty well stocked. At that part of the day.
Yeah.
Should we mention the 21k at this point?
Yes.
Cool. So the 21k is basically the same as the 50k course from Blue Lake to the end. The race starts at Blue Lake, except you go for a loop around the lake first. So you've got a 5.5k loop around Tikitapu Lake first, and then you basically carry on the way in which we're going to describe. We can show you quickly on here. There's the course for the 21k. So starting here, I think there's a road section here. I am quite sure the road is closed off here because it's a high volume of runners. The road is closed for a short period of time for the start of that race, because there's only otherwise it would be a bit dicey. Got a bit of a road section that'll give you time to sort of spread out a bit before you hit the single trail there. They take you all the way up the road. That'll just be to deal with the high volume of folks. There's the trail there. So you run all the way up. You run up Tarawera Road for a bit, and this road will be closed. So you'll be able to run up, and then onto the car park, and then it's forestry road from there. So and then onto the trail. So you basically got your loop around Tikitapu, and then onwards, with which we are going to describe.
Nice.
23k's too.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say about that, really, is there?
Nope.
Okay, we're going to carry on. All right. So after Blue Lake Aid Station, just a little climb up out of the aid station, isn't there? And this little bit here in the bottom, this climb up is basically literally just on the grass there, isn't it? It's on the grass as you're sort of walking out of the aid station.
Yeah, you're kind of running on it's like kind of running on a a bit of a slant.
Yeah.
So
it's short though, so it's all good.
you'll be feeling good because you've had your Coke.
Yeah, yeah.
Or,
You'll be fired up.
And you'll be fired up from the aid station and
Yeah.
and all that. And, like, it's kind of close to the end.
Yeah.
So it's like getting into business, into the business. And, like, for 21K, like, the business pretty much starts the start line. So you're in the business as well.
Yeah, everyone's in the business.
In the business of getting home and getting home strong.
Downhill section, actually. A little bit after you've sort of come out of the aid station, a bit of single trail. Yeah, and then you've got some nice downhill, which is a sort of, wide gravelly track, and then it sort of, you open up into the car park, don't you? You sort of end up on the car park.
Oh, yes, it's a flat, runnable bit.
Which I think is about here. The car park here you come through. And that's like a little net down. Mm-hmm. That's where I saw you last year. Mm-hmm. Flying down here.
I was feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you're onto Forestry Road again, aren't you? Really windy road. Before getting into some nice single trail, working your way towards Tokarangi Pa. So that's just here. You'll sort of leave the Forestry Road, and really nice single trail actually, isn't it? This bit.
Yeah, this is a bit.
Sort of starts going up a little bit, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a bit depending on where you are again. Like, people were running in trains, and if you're feeling good and you're passing people, like, just might be mindful of being like, runner on the right.
Yeah, it's a little bit tighter, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That little trail. Yeah.
And just sort of, hopefully if you're passing people and you're feeling good, you've got that energy to be like really nice, and just like loving life.
Loving life.
Life's
great.
And I think, like, here, you're sort of definitely going off like feel a bit more than like being real strict on your heart rate.
Oh yeah, metrics don't really matter after the 32K mark. That's what I always advise anyway for this course.
I think it's just do what feels good.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. And then you kind of like got the last like big hill.
Tokarangi Pa.
Which is definitely a hiking hill.
Yeah. It is short, but it is steep. We did it on the weekend at the end of it was at the tail end of a sort of 5.5 hour run that we did from Okataina. And yeah, it was hiking, but it was fine, like, relatively speaking. You know that it's like fairly short, so it's cool. And knowing what's at the top too is even better.
Yeah, I think like this next bit after you get to the top is quite an interesting bit. It's a mixture of quite fast, but then I noticed that when you go down to the bottom of like the hills, then the uphill on the other side can be kind of like quite like steep in a way. It's like not very short.
These
but
little
long
sections here that you can see.
It's quite energy sucking.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're someone that's good on the downs, like you bomb the downs and you're like sort of like break at the bottom and then like grind up and so just getting through.
These little ups as well.
Yeah. So just being mindful of that, and then it's quite good because it kind of goes on for quite a long time. It feels it could just be the terrain and the time of the race. Like, it's like, especially if you know this bit, like you're like, when is that like long downhill coming? Because there's like many ups and downs at the top.
So then it's the final drop down into the redwoods, really. It's a sharp down. You'll end up on Nursery Road and basically dropping right down into the redwoods. The stairs, as it happens, the stairs have been taken out. So I did talk about the stairs in the other two videos, but under closer investigation and following this course on the weekend, the actual stairs have been taken out, which is a shame. I'd have to say it is a shame. People did complain about the stairs, but for me, like, I think, little things like that are a bit of a legend of a course, where you have like, these stairs at the end of a race, it's like a pretty cool thing. It's a bit of a shame, but probably like just logistics for the race as well, and the high volume of runners and just funneling people downstairs, and there's a bit of like trickiness with other tracks that cross them, and so it's just probably course management too, which I can understand.
Yeah, it was. I remember like last year, I was like quite close to. It was this guy and I were like running together, kind of like aiding each other on, and we were like passing all these people, and then like talking about the stairs, and we were going down them. It was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And you just
they're fun if you're feeling good.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, sort of like going down the stairs. You kind of got momentum, but sort of stopping. And then. Yeah, then there's like easy fast running to the aid station.
You're basically running alongside. You're back in the redwoods. Yep, back in the redwoods, and aid station. Not quite sure where they're going to put this aid station. Oh yeah, looks like it's going to be on that side. Yeah, possibly it'll be over here. Not quite sure how they'll set that up, but yeah, somewhere around there, somewhere near the tree walk. If you've ever been to the tree walk, it's somewhere around that kind of general vicinity. There's been a few different places over the years, but yeah, you're definitely on the flat by here, and it's the 7k's to the finish. So you're about 46k's at the Redwoods aid station. So yeah, just under 7k's to bring it home.
This is like, again, depending on where you're on the field, like if you're in the faster end, like for myself, like I think I just got lollies at this aid station.
Yeah, it's a quick stop generally, isn't it?
But we went back like a few hours later, and they probably like maybe around the 8 hours to be fair. But it looked like an entirely different experience. Like people looked knackered.
Yeah.
They were using that aid station well, you know, like they were stopping, they were refueling. I saw people putting using the medical sort of plasters and whatnot.
Carnage.
Yeah, it was a bit of a carnage going on. But that's kind of maybe 4 hours later, kind of difference. So, you know, you probably won't necessarily be putting plasters on your feet, but you might be still using this aid station like to its full capacity because like
still 7k's to go.
Yeah, and it's in the open, and you want to
later in the day.
Later in the day, and you don't want to be like getting 3k's into the 7k and being like, shit, I should have got more food.
Yeah, or I should have dealt with that blister or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, depending on where you are in the field, is going to depend on how you utilise this aid station, isn't it? Yeah, for sure.
And
how good you're feeling at the time as well.
Things could have happened again from like Blue Lake to here as well. Like it's not like an easy section. It's like got some like technical, well not technical, some like hard parts about it. Like I would feel like
just being in the open, the heat. There's heat coming off the Sulphur Point too, like mud pools and stuff, and the smell too actually.
Especially that late in the race.
Yeah, there's some sulphur. There's obviously Sulphur Point's got very strong sulphur smells, and so yeah, if you're like feeling a little bit nauseous, it's not the best smell. Like and you're trying to run the flat, and so yeah, there's things. Yep, there's challenges.
Yeah, and then there's this funny like awkward grass bit.
Yeah.
Right
at the end here
through the golf course, and you were like, I remember like again running with someone and like talking to her or whoever it was, and just being like, this is really weird, like after running really hard on trail and then suddenly you have to run on grass. Like I was like, my body was like, what the heck is this terrain? And you kind of feel like you're slowing. And I think
so was this grass muddy by the time you were on it?
I don't think it was too bad. It was pretty perfect weather last year. I can't remember mud as such, but yeah,
I know a lot of people mentioned this because when we did the 50k course video last year, a few people mentioned this part being quite hard right at the end.
Oh, it was brutal.
Like quite long, so maybe it'll be mowed this year. Who knows?
Yeah,
like a bit of mowing would probably help it.
Yeah,
mow a track.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. It's all part of the fun. You can see what it's like when you get there.
I think also this part is like this part of the course again, like in a 50k, it's a bit like in a marathon, like the sort of close to like the 40k or like in here, whatever it will be. You've still got like a k or two to go, which is again like quite a few minutes. And you're like near the end, feeling gassed, got this technical bit, and you're like, okay, I just need to like get through this mentally, like just this little section. And then you're kind of like out onto path, basically, concrete path. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it kind of sneaks up on you because you've kind of like used this kind of energy to stay in the moment of the grass, and then you're like, And
this has all been developed. Actually, it was a big development sort of happening here at one point, which is all finished. So yeah, it should be nice path here now actually. Whereas in the past it was a bit of gravel through the sort of edge of this site here. But yeah, it should be quite nice. Finished. It's all finished this area now. It's quite nice. And then it's the finish. Yay! Congratulations, you finished.
Sneak.
Then you can enjoy the weekend.
Yes.
So that is it, my friends. Really, isn't it? Anything else we need to mention?
No, it's
just have a good day and enjoy the experience.
Yep, and just if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at CMF Running. And if you would like to follow me personally, I'm Trail Girl Charlotte on Instagram. And how about you?
I'm NZ Nomad Runner on Instagram, but you'll find me more on Strava. So just search me up, Chris Lucas. That's where I'm posting more. And YouTube, NZ Nomad Runner or CMF Running, where we put this stuff out. And if you want help with your running at all, you can book a free coach call with either of us or Coach Kim, like depending on who is the best fit for you. You can book a free coach call, or if you're keen on joining our Run Club membership, you can do that as well. If you just want to be like part of the community, access to all our discount codes, events, group runs, all that kind of stuff, you can do that as well. If you're planning on doing Faultline Ultra after this 50k, we are going to be down there. So after Tarawera, we'll be in the bus, driving based down Kapiti Coast, doing many training runs on the course. And we're going to be training a whole bunch of runners and athletes for Faultline Ultra, 100k, 100 miler. So maybe you've got plans to see how your Tarawera 50k goes, and then thinking ahead to sort of Faultline 100k or something like that. That's a possibility. So just reach out to us for that.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Cool.
See you next time.
See you on the next one.
Bye.